Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to discuss the industry around plastic surgery, the psychological issues that are related with it, and its ever increasing growth. So, I will start with Himanshu to throw some light on the issue.
So let's get started with it. So the first question arises in this is why do actually people go for the cosmetic surgery or plastic surgery? Right. One thing, the first aspect to it is the body dysmorphic disorder, right? Which contributes in which 7 to 15% of the people actually go for this reason, go for cosmetic surgery due to this reason, right? Second could be the body dissatisfaction. Now it's a whole wide spectrum, the body dissatisfaction part, because it can be due to lower self-esteem. It can also be due to peer pressure. It could also be due to social media exposure. It could also be due to very high or very low weight. It could also be due to bullying or what we call as fat shaming and things like that. So body dissatisfaction is kind of a spectrum altogether, right? These are the two or three, you can say, major contributing factors which lead people to go for cosmetic surgery. Apart from that, there is also fourth reason also where you can see it is seen as a kind of investment where you see if your appearance is somewhat improved, right, you could reap the benefits of the improvement of your appearance, because we cannot all vouch for that, but I'm saying is studies so when you look good, right, if your beauty is somewhat conforming to the standard norms and beauties of the society, right, you are much likely to not succeed but get through things quite easily, right? If you are in a meeting, or if you're going for interview, if you're presentable, if you have a if you are a beautiful or a handsome person, right, chances are you will also be get selected, or it will be a consideration, because these things subtly change people's mind, or at least change people's perception about you, right, at least to that extent. So these can be the thing, especially in the countries developing world, like for example China, where this is considered actually to be an what we can say, it's an investment where the competition is very high in job market, so you want to look good in order to look different or a class apart, you can say. So this could also be reason, but these are the 3 4 reasons for which people go for cosmetic surgery.
I would like to know, what do you think about the plastic surgery? Should people actually choose it, and what are the results that you find that are people really satisfied with it, according to you?
Sure. So, according to a recent research, there has been an influx of plastic surgery, especially in teens and the people who are in their mid 20s, especially girls. It is increasing to it has increased approx 25% in the last 5 years, and especially due to the influx of let's say social media and the internet accessibility, because you see a lot of people looking good, having good people around, and you somewhat get complexes due to that. And people who have the resources to execute these things eventually think about that, and they opt for transforming their body if they are not having those things on a natural basis. So this is what the current report says, that it has been a booming industry in India, and in future also it will get a lot of boost, because see, these things, especially short burst things that we see, that reels, social media, YouTube shorts, all of these things somewhere get you that the feeling of becoming better version of yourself and looking good and becoming inspiration for some other folks, or maybe showing that I am the better one here. So for these things contributing and making it worse for our Indian population, to be honest, because when you put your focus towards those things, artificial enhancement, it eventually it leads you to mayhem and total wreck. So I feel that this is a very bad feeling that has been developed, but it needs to be sorted out with proper education and proper guidance from the doctors itself, not going for the money that they get for executing the process, but they need to educate the people that if it is not important for you, you don't need to do it. So that was my take on this.
Okay. So what I think is, when we're talking about the plastic surgery, the cosmetic surgery, I'm not focusing on the places where people actually need it. In some cases, it's accident marks. In some cases, it's
Right.
major burn marks, like for
Right.
domestic violence and acid attacks and etc. etc. So those are medical conditions where people really need to get rid of it, or they need to get rid of it for some reason. Some people have a disfigured nose, they are born like that, they have birthmarks, so we are not touching that thing, because there people can opt for it because they have never felt different before. Okay, but
Right.
I'm here talking about normal people with normal features, natural skin and everything else that is there. So, what all plastic surgery includes today that we are going to focus on is like the brow lift, the rhinoplasty, cheek folds, the breast augmentation, tummy tucking, and liposuction. Even people get these eye fillers here. Okay, so all these things, and they want to slow their aging process. And for all those things, they go for a plastic surgery. And even when it comes to body modification or all those things, body transformation in case of whether where your gender is something else but you have a different body. So people want to opt for that also, though it is their choice. But many people have suggested that you should let that thing be as it is. Now, the people who are into the cosmic surgery industry, they are not really, there has to be a stage before anyone clears everything. You cannot say that these people are going to responsibly treat you. Okay, if you give them money, it's a multi-million-dollar industry around us. So they are going to take the money and make a profit out of it.
Right.
It's you who has to understand that why are you feeling in a particular way. Most of the people, like he mentioned, I guess, of a body dysmorphic disorder, right? So there is access to disorder in this also. Access one is when you do not have any kind of defect, when whatever you look like is very normal to the other person. In that case, your obsession or that preoccupation with that defect is quite limited. But if there is something which is actually not really good, like having stretch marks or this very fat belly, or your inner thighs that have a lot of fat and cellulite, and just in case if your nose is not very sharp, or it whatever it is that you do not like, if
There can be any number of things.
That thing is present there, this is access 2 of a BDD. In that case, there is a chance that you are more distressed, there is significant distress, there increased hostility towards yourself and towards others, there increased anger issues and low self-esteem, suicidal attempts, and these all things increase. These it's like you get plastic surgery, you get a whole new look and you get satisfied. Yes, people do get satisfied, but it is something like a I read it in a analogy of a pay rise. Okay, if someone increases your pay by 1,000 or 2,000, you're very happy about it for like a month or so. But after that, you get used to it. Now you need more of it. So there are so many people that will actually try to go again and again and again for the same procedure, and many people are not satisfied with it, especially in case of breast augmentation, where people actually get those silicone gel breasts for fuller breasts, because I think that that part is becomes more attractive and all. So in that case, the research has shown, and this is American Psychology Association, I'm not making this up, people with breast augmentation and all those kind of surgeries are 4 times more suicidal. The mortality rate in them higher, and it doesn't come with any kind of safety warranty or anything. Okay, you know how it happens, right? It's temporary. It's not permanent. And people, and there's a high chance that because they are already very distressed, they're already suffering from anxiety, depression, personality disorders, and all that. Like 9 to 10%, it has been recorded that 9 to 10% who actually come for this plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery are already going through personality disorder, and it never satisfies them. BDD in his case, as Himanshu told, it is only 7 to 15%. In general population, if people are not opting for it, it's only 1% of BDD.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because of this, it has even worsened. It has increased now, 7 to 15%. It is a very significant amount of population.
True.
So a lot of things are related to the psychological issues around plastic surgery. Like, you're not happy with the self-image that you have. You're not happy with the size of your breasts or the nose that you have, or even your cheeks. People go for even cheek rolls. Imagine that.
Yeah. Indian actresses mainly.
They want to get rid of these. Some people have a very swollen bag-like thing. They go for eyebrow lift. Oh my God,
Yeah.
eyebrow lift. So these are very small things, and people should understand how to accept it instead of just going for the plastic surgery, because they are not going to stop. It's like the market growth of this particular industry. In 2020, it was 44.5, around 45 billion USD dollars, US dollars. By 2028, it is going to increase to around 58 billion.
Yeah.
And it was a recent study recorded in Pune in April 2022, this year only. It is going to even increase. And the overall, on an average, depression, anxiety, and other stress and low self-esteem and or thinking low of yourself, there's a certain degree of dissatisfaction among those people who go for plastic surgery. It is proven through many research, and it has been a consistent result. It's not that it was quoted just somewhere, one or two places. It has been consistent across the board. So now I would turn back to Himanshu. Can you throw some light on why do you think the industry is still booming and without any kind of regulation here?
Well, now this is kind of, this is a very big question in itself, right? Why this is being, but some of it, what I have understood is, especially in teenage people, social media exposure, because we didn't account that this could happen, right? When social media was built, nobody thought that this could happen. Now what's happening across the world, more and more teenage or Gen Z or millennials, in popular terms, right, they're coming to, right, social media, and day in and day out they're bombarded with these pictures, right? An algorithm is such that they will bombard you with this picture. I mean, the recent this Facebook whistleblower, now known as Meta, right? What did she tell? She tell that Facebook or Instagram knew about this. This was causing a depression tendency or anxiety tendency inside, especially in teenage girl, because beauty is most probably, girls have to conform to the defined beauty norms, right? It is overwhelmingly affecting girls. I'm not saying it is not affecting men, but I'm saying the overwhelming majority affected by this type of social media exposure are girls, teenage girls especially, right? Because they do not have sense of understanding. Everybody, they want also validation from people, likes, comments, share, whatever, right? And when these things happen, that girl is looking better than me, or they think that that is the beauty standard they should conform to. And also, celebrity and pop star culture through this social media has increased vastly, right? You see it across the board, whether in India, whether in US, or even in China, right? I mean, we do not have access to Chinese social media platforms, but if you look at the data, right, there also this pop star culture has increased massively. So what's happening? when you see, I do not want to name the persons, right? But you see in Hollywood, certain people, right, are considered to be the beauty standards, right? This is the beauty standard. You need to conform. So you, in order to look like that, right, you want to become like that. So how could you? Because there is a very ancient, not ancient, but there is a understanding ki there are two different kind of understanding. One is ki beauty is something very intrinsic to you, right? It lies in the eyes of the beholder, and you should be comfortable in your own skin, and you should be fine with your beauty. The second thought process is ki if you see beauty as some sort of commodity, right? Which can if it is a commodity, right? Understand one thing: if it is a commodity, commodities or products can always be enhanced. And if you have the money power to buy that enhancement, why shouldn't we go for it? These are the two broad thinking I find. One side says, yeah, you should be comfortable in what you are born. The second side thinks is beauty is a commodity. And if it gets me back to my first point, if you see, if you invest in a beauty and it will give you return. For example, if you invest in some kind of enhancement, you go for botox, fillers, whatever, right? I'm not only saying you go under the knife, right? Even if you go for botox or fillers, right, if it enhances you some bit, right, and if you can be lauded more for that, right, you I mean, everybody wants that kind of fame, and and if we do not understand it clearly whether it is good for us, bad for us, right, we will go for that. So if you see beauty as a commodity, so there can always be enhancement. The only caveat is you should have the money part to buy it, right? And therein comes this whole app culture, because in China, there are apps like Soyoung and Gangmi who actually connect people to the doctors, right, or the surgeons who provide this kind of surgery, and even those app provides you loan for getting the cosmetic surgery to be done, right? So it's a whole business out there. So what happens is now if you have loan, right, you think, and the most popular surgery in China is, by the way, this double eyelid surgery, because they think their eyes are small, so they should go for double eyelid surgery, right? And even the parents themselves, whenever they graduate, there is a special term for it. I'm forgetting the term, right? Whenever these girls graduate, or even for boys also, right, they graduate, parents give them cosmetic surgery as a gift, right? uh, uh, I'm talking not only about the under the knife. The under the knife, it can cost you around somewhere around $10,000, $12,000. But even going for Botox and syringe or fillers, right? That is very cheap in China. It is somewhere around what $1,000, right? So you can, and China especially going. I mean, China will double the number of millennials by 2025. Currently now, उस तरीके से it's what they are having. So I mean, now you see na ki the more people will become millionaire, the more comfortable they will be, the more they will go for this thing, because ultimately if beauty can be buyed out, why not? Right. No, I'm not criticizing if you want to go for Botox or fillers, or even for if you want to go to the surgery, it's fine, right? I am no one to judge, right? It's your body, your choice. But understand things, right? Okay, if you have certain conditions, that which I missed out in my when I first started talking about is yeah, if you have a burn mark or some kind of nasal problem in which you cannot breathe, you can go for cosmetic surgery, right? I'm not saying burn mark or stretch marks, or something like which doctors recommend. It is a thing, by the way, that is insured also under the health insurance. Like if you get a health insurance plan, these are the things which are insured under the health insurance plans. But if it is not recommended by doctors, if you purely want to enhance your beauty, you should understand the whole thing, right? Because not every treatment is equally harmful in a sense, or equally क्या कह सकते हैं, equitable nahi in a sense. जैसे कि if there is something called as Brazilian butt lift, right, which has the highest chance of damaging you, which is I think 1 in 3,000, right? In Brazilian butt lift, what essentially happens is the weight, the fat from mainly from your tummy get transferred to your butt area, right? But it can prove disastrous, because the rate is quite high, right? Even a breast implants, right? there is 1% chance your body might reject it. Now, if you want to be in that 1%, if you understand that risk, if you understand that risk, then it's fine, right? You can go for it. But before going into that, right, I would recommend that everybody should read up on this, what is good, what's not, because not every treatment is equal in a sense, right? Not every beauty enhancement technique is equal, right? There are consequences. Um, Consequences can vary according to that, and even right, even before that, you should try to look if whether it is actually a condition or it is just coming from peer pressure or various other things, right? Because in that case, you might think it would be solved by enhancing whatever body part it may be, right? But actually it does not happen, right? People, क्योंकि the origin point is somewhere else, right? So it is recommended you should go for therapy and meditation first, because if it is coming from actually a psychological thing or it is a mental health issue which is making you feel like that, then the first thing should be you should go for a therapy or medication rather than going for this artificial things. Even after that, if you find you should go for it, then it's fine. I mean, you can read upon it, you can talk to your doctor, and if you want to actually go for it, yeah, you can go for it. I mean, it's totally your choice. I'm not saying that, but people should be aware of that.
Well, they do have a choice in some factors, but the point is, UK banned it for some reason. And the reason was that Botox and fillers are putting people at risk, the young children at risk, and this industry is highly unregulated. Right?
Yeah.
When the industry is highly unregulated and or complete acts, in this case, in UK's case, Miss Doris, she was the cultural secretary in Boris Johnson's reshuffle cabinet. She said that youngsters under 18, the teenage, do not need cosmetic surgery. Their physical and mental development is incomplete. And I will say that even after 18, you do not need it, because there is a certain amount of dissatisfaction with your own body that is actually fueling your desire to get a cosmetic surgery done, to fix your nose, to have fillers in your lips, or to get an eyebrow lift. Like, seriously, to get a Brazilian butt lift, whom are you going to attract with it? There is a kind of a narcissistic tendency also in those kind of people, that it has actually been recorded that 44% of the people suffered in US. There was a research that 44% of people actually suffered from narcissistic disorder. There was lack of empathy for themselves, also for others also. They did not care, and then there was a strong need for that kind of admiration and attention, and this is problematic. And in that case, the choice is left on you. I do not think that can remain unless and until there is a clean sheet that before someone is granted that cosmetic surgery, whoever is going to do it, the surgeon, ask that patient to visit a psychologist or a psychiatrist, get a clean sheet that you're not suffering from any kind of issue. You do not have BDD, you do not have narcissistic tendency, you do not have depression, anxiety, and other things. So once that is clear, then the choice is left to the individual, whether you still want to go for it or not. But if you're actually suffering from some kind of mental issue, then you're not fit to take that choice. That's the whole point. That is why I discourage it so much. And there was one... people in Norway and North America, these are the actually dominating in the growth of this. Okay, so these are the people who are sorry.
Yeah, just to add one point, Mr. There, right? This whole cosmetic surgery thing, right? Let's take the example of China, right? Because it is isolated society, so you can say that, right, the outside information really reaches that. Even there also, the average age of people who are going under cosmetic surgery is 24 years. Right, 80% of them are females. Right. Um, Even there also, right? Because China is an authoritarian state, right? Everything is centrally controlled. But even there, 80,000 clinics were unlicensed back in 2018 or 2019, I'm forgetting. But 80,000, right? It will create a peculiar problem, especially in the developing world. Because in developed world, you can still say the regulation is far better than the developing world, right? What if you go to a surgeon or a clinic which is unlicensed, which is unregulated? Because okay, you can come and say ki, we can sue it, but remember, if it happens in India, how much time will you get to will it take to get justice? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, who knows? But your life will
Who's
be
going to sue
destroyed. So
it
I mean,
anyway in India? People are middle
yeah,
class. If they have certain amount of money, they just go to doctor and ask the doctor to do something of their choice. They are not going to sue anyone. I
yeah,
mean, they
but
do not have that
ultimately
kind of
your
money
life
to
will be
go after
destroyed,
a
na?
company or something. We do not have it.
Yeah, but the thing is, your life will be destroyed eventually because if something
Yes,
goes wrong, it can lead to horrible results,
yes.
right? So be very careful in what you want to do, where you want to get it done, right? And why, in the first place, you should ask the question to yourself, why? Right, because answering that question is ultimately very necessary. If it is due to you can get some likes, I'm not demeaning somebody, I'm not denigrating somebody, but if it is only key if you're getting something done and which will enhance you getting likes and comments and whatever more social media shares. I mean, I don't think it's the right thing to do. At least from my opinion, it is not the right thing to do. If
Actually,
it
the
is you are doing
background
it,
for that UK ban was that the more and more people were seeking for that Instagram face in themselves.
yeah,
That's why they were
yeah,
going to it. And this market is very unregulated. I would like Anubhav to
yeah,
Now,
come here and
yeah, I have the same question that you're about to ask. That what are the possibilities of regulation? Like when we talk about to manage a particular domain, so what are the possible rules and implications that we can put to this particular industry? Because at the end, it is the industry of what you can say luxury. Because the people who don't have money, it is not essential, right? It is the domain of people who have the sources and they opt for enhancement. So it is a very typical industry with which you can say high end people in the bracket. So I just wanted your opinions to how this particular industry can be regulated and what. See, education is a different side. We all know that doctors should educate, and even the patients should think before executing any outer substance on their body. But the problem is when we talk about the proper regulation that comes in authority of the government or the regulatory bodies, what exactly do we think can be implemented to make it more, what you can say, make it more compulsive when it is important rather than it is becoming a choice of luxury or anything like that?
I recommended one thing
uh,
that this plastic surgeons, they have to get a clean sheet from any kind of a psychiatrist or a psychologist that this person is not going
Yeah.
and without it you cannot do any kind of surgery. First thing is that you make that compulsory, and in any case if it is missing, no matter the consequences, whether the surgery is successful, the patient is happy, that doesn't matter. That will be the fine will be applicable on both the patient and the doctor.
Yeah.
There will be more
Okay.
illegal activities then, but then it's your job to curb it. But at least make that law, regulate it. And then there has to be some kind of training for doctors that they take into mental health of the patient before any kind of treatment that they offer to him or her. Right.
Hmm.
So this
Right.
has to be done on the doctors and the government's level. I think Himanshu will be able to throw more light on it, that what else can be done.
see, what I think is there should be a ban, right? Apart from things where you get burns and things like that, which is totally recommended by doctor, right? Before 18 years of age. I mean, if you are 18 years of age and if it is not doctor recommended, you should not have the right to go under it in the first place. right?
Yes.
Now coming after the 18 years of age, what you should have is, okay, if someone is going to, let's say, clinic also, right? The doctor should first see whether why is the person opting for it, right? And this is where the NISTA solution gave me some level of basic amount of training and guidelines should be provided to doctor, right? And if he thinks she needs some kind of therapy instead of this enhancement, she should or he should, right, be recommended to a doctor. Oh, sorry, a psychiatrist, right? Which what happens is key in the cases, right? It is stemming from a psychological thing. It is not actually where you actually want to go under the knife. It is due to various other psychological reasons. So if the doctor thinks it's fine, she should go under the surgery, then it's fine. But even if there is a little bit of skepticism, right, she or he should be sent to a psychiatrist in order for further evaluation, right? The third thing could be key. That's where the regulation part comes in. Key your regulatory mechanism. Every doctor who is doing this should have a centralized database, okay, where it can be verified and checked not only by the government authorities, also by the individuals who can access that data easily, and that information how to access that data is also available to public. Because in most of the cases what happens is there are websites but people do not even know about it, how to reach there.
Right.
So that level of awareness should be there. These are the things you can do. Of course there will be loopholes, no system is perfect, but I think in my vision these are the 3-4 things you can do in order to better regulate it. Because if the person goes into an unregulated place or unlicensed place, chances are he or she is going to it is going to end up in a disaster, right? And you do not want to disaster, because these kind of things, if it is disastrous, especially if it is something done on your face, it can ruin your entire life. Let's be honest. Okay. So government should be careful. Yeah, basic level of training you can provide to people, but even if there is a little bit of skepticism, that individual should immediately not, but should be referred to a psychiatrist. And if this psychiatrist then again gives the clean sheet to that individual person, then he or she can go for the surgery or things like that. Otherwise, no. So I mean, but yeah, that is the hard part in the developing world, making a
The
regulation
infrastructure
and
has to be developed on
ensuring.
the part of the government.
And ensuring that the rules and the guidelines are followed, because in developing world these guidelines are not followed. Guidelines are always present, but it is the implementation part which lacks.
Right.
So that was my suggestion.
So I would like to move to the last part, which is actually a very important part because it's driving our our youth, or driving us in a way towards that cosmetic surgery and the need to look better or a particular standard, or like our own icons. In one case, a person wanted to look like Angelina Jolie, and she ended up a disaster. We all know about it. Like, not just correction of a face or anything that she didn't like. She wanted to imitate someone else completely. So Hollywood and Bollywood and our dear stars. I do not want to get personal here, but people who want to inspire others and want to be role models, they themselves go for plastic surgery and face correction and rhinoplasty. On what basis do they fill that criteria of being an ideal to anyone? They keep on ranting all day and make any kind of movie or ads or anything else. Accept yourself, love yourself. We are different, and you do not want to be different. You want to be set in a standard. You want to be admired by a lot of people. Maybe you are also suffering from lack of self-esteem, and you have body image issues, and you also might be a narcissistic. Who knows? We do not know the mental health of these people we are looking up to. That's the issue. And these people will not tell you the whole truth always. I'm not saying that they are liars. They share a great deal of their personal space with us.
Yeah, my thought is people come and preach anything they want, right? They have become the preachers of the world and the torchbearer of everything, right? They are the torchbearers of democracy, torchbearer of freedom, torchbearer of body positivity. You name it, they will be in the league. They will be running. I am the best, the most who can virtue signal, right? But when it comes to the actual reality part of it, right? These all people, not all people, but some of them, or you can say most of them, go under the knife or Botox or for fillers, right? Which is I'm fine. I do not have any problem with that. But all I'm saying is that then don't come and teach about body positivity, right? Or at least even if you're preaching, at least be honest in giving us the information or giving the people who form your fan clubs and things like that. You go to Instagram and you will find plethora of fan pages of every goddamn actor and actress, right? I do not even have problem with that. All I'm saying is at least be honest with them who are so devoted to you. There has to be some kind of moral credibility, moral responsibility, right? At least to tell them, yeah, this is this, and this I have gone through, or I have gone through this much of treatment, or this type of treatment. You should at least be clear, even if you're preaching body positivity. Now they do not do any of those. So then you have to tell, this is sheer hypocrisy, because just because you can afford it does not imply that someone who is following you on Instagram or wherever they are following you has the same amount of money to go through it, right? And because they aspire to become like you, or at least you are their idol, right? They think they should also be like you, especially when it comes to beauty part, right? So, I mean, you should own up to some kind of moral responsibility if you are the torchbearer of everything, right? If you want to virtue signal on everything, right? At least be honest about things. All I'm saying is this.
Sometimes, on the other hand, I feel that people know it. They know also they're crazy about them. So, what can we expect from these kind of people? Especially, I'm talking about males here. These people are just crazy about Nicki Minaj or Kim Kardashian or any other person who has
Jenner.
They have undergone surgery. It's just pleasing to your eyes and you are perfectly fine with it. You do not even want to know what was it that was so unsatisfactory, caused them so much dissatisfaction. And was it so bad that you had to go under the knife? People do not actually, in general, if we move away from Hollywood or Bollywood, people in general do not really appreciate the value system or those people who accept themselves as they are. People body shame a lot. We cannot forget that social media Instagram is a place where people comment on you every time. Some people, when they put up their any kind of picture that they like, but they are so fearful that others might comment on it, they switch off their comment section. They want to express themselves, but they do not want nasty comments. There's so much of low self-esteem and there's no confidence that people are going to accept me the way I am. And this is such an unhealthy environment to be in. And these people are comparing, like, I do not want to be really rude here, but the males, because I'm talking about the males because most of the people who go for plastic surgery are females. Okay, so the mental issue is with them. Mostly, it's not that men do not go for it, but mostly. So somehow the mental health victims here, the all kind of this stress and body image, all that thing is happening with female community mostly. So I'm talking about the males here who put that pressure on us to look a certain way. Otherwise, you're not even worth it that someone may look at you. Just like, shakal dekhiye apni, or shakal dekhiye uski. The same kind of comments when we pass on to guys, they go crazy. But you also do the same to the female community when you know that their looks matter to them a lot. I'm not saying that it should, but it's because of you that you make them so self-conscious. There was a study also that males have actually eventually became self-conscious because they were around females for a long time. After that, they become self-conscious. Previously, they were not, because they point out things a lot. Similarly, when it comes to females, the same kind of judgment about your skin color, about your thighs, about your legs, about your arms, and about your butt, about your breast, about everything else is just everywhere. Even from your friends, even from your families, even from your relatives, from everyone, even the person that you will love. People in general who you do not even know will comment on it on Instagram or Facebook, now Meta, and even your relatives will, and even the person that you love may have said it at some point of time or will say it in future at some point of time. It is very difficult to accept the person as they are. It's not easy with their stretch marks, with their cellulite, and all the other things. So there's a society also who do not value people as they are. They are not accepting. So we cannot completely blame it on the victims that why are they the way they are. If they're looking up to some kind of idol, because they are seeing that there's certain admiration attached and there's certain level of attention and love attached to those people because of the way they look. Now, even if the person knows that this celebrity has undergone cosmetic surgery, but there's no effect, there's no general disgust about it. People do not moral police her or do not try to. I mean, there are comments even on social media if you get breast implants. I've seen it for female celebrities. But the point is, at the end of the day, you admire that person. So that is the message that is going to our general population. That all people want is that you look a certain way. You digress from it, your the admiration that people will have for you will decrease.
See, it all boils down to the one part that who is influencing your basically the young generation. So here we are definitely having some bad examples, as you put it in the starting, that Bollywood stars are not the ideal ones to go and look forward. Now, it all comes down to the people around you, the mentors, the guide, the parents that are with you, that they also need to contribute. They need to, first of all, stop comparing you, or because, see, in our traditional societies, it is a very common practice, especially when you see in villages and all that, they are quite bold about it. They say it on the face without thinking about, like, you are not fair and your body is like this. And they are just growing with this mindset without thinking to get out of it. And it is a very problematic thing. So first of all, we need to understand that this mindset needs to get out of the way in order to reduce these things and reduce the self-depression phenomena. The second thing is talking about the idols. When we look at different personalities, there are numerous people who we can inspire, we can look forward, because they didn't focus on their body shape, or they just work and they just achieve something in their life. Like maybe it can be athleticism, it can be entrepreneurship. There are a number of examples, but our society, our media, all of them still only focus on the Bollywood and the gossips and what you can call as celebrity buzz, all of that. And that is just literally so frustrating, because eventually the society the younger generation is looking only towards that. And if you're not giving them proper examples, then we have a serious problem here to address. So I think that these couple of changes can can initiate a bigger change in the society and can reduce these problems in our society of having a what we can say, feeling self-inferior towards the other people or people who have a good physique or personality. This can be reduced if we start behaving as a normal person. I'm not saying that you need to behave cautiously, just like a normal person, treat everyone normal and it will be all fine, rather than just comparison and pointing out the problems that each individual has, especially the woman.
Yeah, people under 18 do not need to correct their noses and have a brow lift. No, they do not. Just to imitate someone else that they like in the celebrity, among the celebrities. Sorry. UK did a very good thing, and India should follow in its footsteps for this time at least. Because at least they have understood that the industry is so unregulated and it is putting people at risk. It doesn't come with a safety guarantee. And Anupam made a very good point of media being irresponsible here. All they talk about is who is dating whom. They never talk about this person got his plastic surgery. Inke sources har jagah pahunchte hain. But they cannot actually confirm whether she got a plastic surgery or not. Yes or no?
Right.
At least if they do not take names, then also they should have some kind of debate around it, that is it right because our general population is looking up to them. And you talk about mental health, the Bollywood talks about mental health, the Hollywood talks about mental health a lot. But you people are coming from a place where you yourself are so dissatisfied with your body that you go under the knife. How are you going to inspire others? In what phase you say all this? Sometimes I feel that what kind of hypocrites we follow. We should admire them for their acting and other things, but we should not be like they are gods. They are not. And these people lie a lot sometimes, especially about the way they look, the products they use, the products that they might actually show or advertise. Like in case of Coca-Cola or Thumbs Up, they themselves do not take it because it has high levels of sugar and etc. Maggie, they do not eat Maggie. They eat very healthy food.
Vimal, bolo Zubaa Kesri.
Zubaa Kesri. About money. They are all about money. These people made gehraiyan. I dare Bollywood and Hollywood to make a film which shows the bad side of plastic industry and where it is coming from. That most of the people who go for it are dissatisfied. They do not like themselves, and it's not a healthy place to be in. Tell them the truth through a movie, because you're a movie makers. No, you will correct your lips, correct your nose, and then you will come out in public and have that fan following, and you're happy about it, and then you will say, accept yourself the way you are. I mean, bullshit these people are. Then Himanshu, what do you think about it? You were saying that you want to get personal with them. I would love to hear it.
See, all these things, right? For example, someone being followed with a high number of people on Instagram, we have to peg the question then, what actually are these products in itself, right? These products were actually designed in order to get your attention, to make people remain on that platform, so that then they can pass their data and can sell it out. Now, this second part of it is, if you're a celebrity on an Instagram, what will eventually happen is, you need more followers. Why do you need more followers? Because you will earn money through advertisement and sponsorship, right? So you have an incentive to do whatever you want in order to gauge attention. Either it could be doing hyperbole, right? Which, in order to remain in the news cycle, or it could be you look so drastically different from of let's say if you're a girl, right? If you are looking very different from your gender, right? If it is very drastically different, it will catch an eye. Or if it is something which is very as pleasing to your to let's say opposite gender side, right? But sometimes, right, it is pleasing even to girls, because I have heard in my families they look at some actresses pic, right, and then say she's looking like a Jalpari, right? They also have somewhere, and then they also say they want to become like that, right? My then question is that they are so bombarded with these that you go to start. I follow no celebrity whatsoever, right? But still, even if I scroll up my feed, somewhere down the line I start seeing all these pictures, right? Not only of actresses but celebrity influencer or someone who is very popular, not with a blue tick account, but with a very popular, but whose handles are very popular, right? What does it show? It is very pleasing, right? These things people actually want to see, because people have desire. They think that's why whole human kind of fantasies and mythology and things like that, because somewhere you want to have something which is totally different from your entire gender, and if you are that person, you are going to get attention. No, they do not care, because they live in mansions. In their part of the world, in the elite section, it is very acceptable. I mean, elites do not have very moral standards to follow, right? It's the middle class who has the moral, who actually carry the burden of moral responsibility, right? Elites do not care. They only do virtue signaling, right? They themselves are not like that. So my question on that is, yeah, celebrities can be like that, but my solution overall is I think before 16 or 17, no person, whether male or female, should have a social media account. My solution, it might sound drastic to some people, because I know in my family, people who have been given phones at the age of 13 and 14, what they have become now, whether male or whether female, right? Then you can say, yeah, you can codify what should be these moral response or the ethical standards of advertising something, but still people will find loopholes, because these are the people who are controlling the levers of power, or at least influencing them at best, right? So whatever they do, and you cannot even say ban Instagram totally, right? This is also not solution. It can only, the solution can only come from a basic unit, which is family, right? In India, especially in West, you can say the fundamental unit is an individual, but in India, the fundamental unit is a family, right? I think if people should, whether male or female, irrespective, they should not be allowed to have a person's social media account till they are 16 or 17 years of age. Neither should be they exposed to it, even by their parents, because I see 10 years kid, they do not have social media account, but they scroll Instagram on their mother's or their father's phone. Right. And rest assured, howsoever ethical standard you draw, howsoever you regulate that platform, howsoever stringent condition you make, if you are exposing people, because remember, जब तुम एक community में होते हो, ठीक है, तो तुम अपने जैसे ही लोगों को देखते हो. तुम कर क्या रहे हो कि 12 साल के बच्चे को दुनिया जहान के कम्युनिटी से एक्सपोज कर रहे हो, जहां पर डिफरेंट स्टैंडर्ड ऑफ ब्यूटी होंगे, और होंगे ऐसे लोग, और चूंकि वो प्लीजिंग लगते होंगे या डिफरेंट दिखते होंगे, पॉपुलर वही होंगे. यू जस्ट कैन नॉट stop it. Algorithms are written like that. You can of course come down with stringent regulation, but still people will find a way to find a loophole in that also. So my best solution would be yeah, celebrities should stop, right? Most of them are actually hypocrite, right? Even I would say most of them even are dumb, pure dumb people, right? Who do not know anything, right? They just have some amount of good acting for some people and a good physique, right? That's all they possess. They do not have any brain whatsoever. Some of them, I'm saying. I'm not saying the entire industry. There are good brains, I'm saying. But if that's the only quality, you can get popular by that only, because social media is designed in that way. Whether algorithm will promote that thing, right? And even if algorithm doesn't promote, now we have come to a stage where you have a 30-second attention span or a 1 minute attention span. What will you do with 30-second and 1 minute attention span? Tell me honestly. And this has been going on for 4 or 5 years at least in India for 2016. So it will take time because remember, denigrating something takes much less time than to construct something. So you can regulate, but the thing is that family should stay, because what I see is lack of parenting or parental understanding how this is affecting their kid. I see it personally in my family. I somewhat tell them, but ultimately I'm still an outsider, right? The fundamental is still unit is still the family. So they need to be stop from making personal social media account, because at least to some degree you can stop the bombardment of these pictures which are unnatural, right? Because most of them are photoshopped. They have very good quality photographer to click photos. They have high quality editors to edit that photos, and right, they can go for all these artificial beauty enhancing methods, right? Because they have an incentive to do that, right? They can earn money, but not everybody can be Instagram influencer. But everybody can ruin their life by trying to or aspiring to become an Instagram influencer. You look at America, 50% of the Gen Zs, right, actually want to become an Instagram influencer. No, that cannot be. That cannot happen. Right. That is just here not possible. So you have to stop people from making a personal social media account.
The problem is it is not sustainable in longer run. You can get followers, for instance, but look at the people who got famous. Now they are nowhere. So I mean, it is not a very fixed career. Tomorrow, if your engagement goes down, you go down.
For that individual who got success, right? It might be 4 years, right? But the person who watched that individual for 4 years is rest assured is completely screwed over. Yeah. Because he at least made some amount of money. But that guy didn't get anything. Neither he studied, neither he got money. He was just scrolling, purely scrolling. Right. Yeah. So I'm not saying that it is attention, but the person who are watching, even if they watch it for 1 year continuously, they are screwed. Nothing can be done about it. So my thing is, people should
hardwires your brain also in a certain way when it comes to how beauty is defined. You have to have an hourglass figure. You have to have a Barbie doll face, and then you have to have fair skin, maybe. So all these are standards, and if you see most of the plastic surgeries, people are going for that kind of look only. They want fuller lips, they want sharp noses, they want lifted eyebrows, they do not want any bags under here, they want their cheek bones to be highlighted, and they want their jaw, this area, what do we call it?
Jaw area.
Jawline to be like completely chiseled. So this is kind of definition of what you will go for if you go for a cosmetic surgery to change how you look. And when it comes to your lower body part, you want to get liposuction in your inner thighs and your stomach, and then you want a Brazilian butt lift. Like, this is what everyone is going to do. North America is the leading country when it comes to the market growth in cosmetic industry. And because of the availability of the technology, this is going to continue, and the growth in India is also going to be high. And in India, it is going to be highly unregulated. I'm saying it again and again because no one does anything on ground here. The laws are on paper, implementation and checking everything is just bullshit.
In North America, we do not have much information on China. But China actually contributes 17% of the total cosmetic industry. Right. You can say that China
is all about nakli things. It's not even a surprise that they will do some kind of artificial thing even in
they had the first Miss, if I'm not wrong, first Miss Plastic Pageant Beauty Competition back in 2004.
They've created their own Elon Musk. What do you think they can't do?
No, I'm saying is right. We do not have access to Chinese media, so we cannot predict. But they're also right. It is contributing 17%, and it is a totally accepted norm. if parents are gifting children, surgery as a gift of the graduation, right? It is a highly accepted thing in China that you need to have certain beauty standards. So all I'm saying is even there also, right? Even if 5% of China is, let's say, millennial, that means at least there will be more than 5 crore people for millennials, right? So I mean, it's a big industry there, right? You can go for anything pretty much, right? All the treatments are there are exclusive medical zones where companies can open these kind of things and they get tax breaks and things like that. So even there also, right, they have exclusive things. So all I'm saying is कि even वो कंट्री तो रेगुलेटेड है ना बहुत ज्यादा. चाइना तो बाहरी इन्फ्लुएंस कोई नहीं कैरी करता ना. उनके यहाँ कि हर कोई बंदा नहीं आ रहा होता है जो हम और तुम इंस्टाग्राम पे देख सकते हैं. इंस्टाग्राम वैसे है ही नहीं वहां पे बाय द वे. तो उनका तो आउटसाइड एक्सपोजर भी पॉपुलेशन का बहुत कम है ना, फिर भी ये सारी चीजें हो रही हैं.
They are not satisfied with themselves. They
What does
think
it tell you?
themselves are like they have smaller eyes, so they want to get a double eye surgery, eyelid surgery, and all that. So it has been instilled in them.
Normal.
Somehow it is actually put inside them that this feature of them, we call them chinga. Do you think they do not even know? They must be knowing that there are certain features of us that people laugh at. उनको पता तो होगा.
No, there were reports that girls in China especially, some of the girls wanted to look like. Right. So what does it tell you? This whole culture, right? Where, because ultimately it boils down to the thing, is celebrity culture, right? Or celebrity Instagram culture is influencing people in very bad way. The algorithms are also helping it. Plus, the thing is, do you see the thing? It's very easy money to make compared to any other profession. And that is what is most attractive about it, right? There you see 18-year-old, 19-year-old, like getting popular by doing some dance or things like that. Tell me, अगर तुम एक बिलियनियर घर से नहीं होते तो 18-19 साल में इस अमाउंट ऑफ फेम को नहीं पा सकते थे. आज के 10 साल पहले, 15 साल पहले. Now it is very easy to get fame, right? But what does actually that fame means to individual and society as a whole is the question we should be asking. Because if that has become an aspirational quality, I am sorry, society is going to go downhill.
Right.
Because there is no understanding of the world, how it functions. Because at 18 years, where even the cortex is not been fully developed, what will you understand about world? What have you seen about this world? Right. Because money makes you that thing, it makes you isolated because you can pretty much buy anything. I'm not saying money is bad. I'm not at all saying that, right? Money is good, right? People should earn money. But how are they earning and how is that money itself is affecting to them only, right? Leave alone the societal aspect of it, right? Because if they have money, right, most young people can, if they get fame at a younger age, they go into drug culture, right? They do drugs and what God knows what, right? Because they have easy money, they have not fully understood the consequences of their action, right?
So on that note, we have discussed so far everything that we could have and whatever the knowledge that we had. So we can end it here.
Yeah. Hope to see you in next episode. Bye-bye.